Hi YouTube friends, welcome back to the channel. Today is sort of a turning point in our season. We're just about a week away from getting brand new baby chicks, and due to a slight change in plans, we got piglets coming too. It's going to be a very exciting week. I hope I can film it all, but right now I want to do the final follow-up on the condition of the pasture. Since getting the news that the sow that was supposed to provide our piglets was not going to follow through, we worked out a deal to get some others, but they were older, so they're ready for weaning and they're going to be arriving within the week. So with that news in mind, I had to accelerate our plans out here. So originally our brood group was planned to enter that very grassy area in the distance there, and then I was supposed to mow it. Well, that's not going to happen because I had to get them out of here sooner to make sure that we had enough grass for the piglets when they come out here in a few weeks. They're going to have a couple of weeks of training and some close observation before they come out here. Obviously, they have to learn about electric fence and me and how we're going to manage them. So here we are in number 11. Everything out here has been mowed since I was out here last, with two small exceptions. The first exception being the distant paddock in the back there that was very shady. I decided to let those oats, you can see them standing there now, decided to let those oats go ahead and finish out and reseed that area as an experiment. The other areas that did not get mowed is this smaller paddock here and this paddock here, that are directly adjacent to the shelter, feeder, water, and their shade. Between piglet arrival and now, I still need to get along these fences here. This is so much grass here you can't even hardly see the fence, but that runs all the way to the back fence and over to the trees that we see over on the left. And it's just completely out of control. But what it will do for us, even though it won't get grazed this spring, we will be able to graze this later. And I'm pretty sure that no matter what, next year we're going to have plenty of ryegrass in these two larger paddocks, because this is going to seed, and it's not on the top of my priority list. What is on the top of my priority list is making sure that we, oh, you have something on you. What is on the top of our priority list is making sure that we have a safe, secure area for the piglets when they arrive, where we can systematically educate them on how things work around here and sort of get them acclimated to us, which is really important when you manage pigs daily rather than just letting them go. This is our brood group. That's Albert, Little Mister, and Vicky. I've already started here. Let me show you what I have. So what we're looking at here is nothing more than a rectangle of T-posts and hog panels. Across the pen there, where the very tall grass is a fence that should be impenetrable to a piglet. And in the back here is, well, it looks like a couple of things, but let's just call it fence, that is also suitable for containing piglets. The thing is, I don't want them to ever touch this fence. they're going to have an electric wire that goes all the way around this area. And I'm going to put it very close to the hog panels, maybe 6 inches or so, out from this panel, so that if a pig nose touches it, they can learn to override their instinct to run just straight forward. These pigs are going to have to be, they're going to have to prove the notion that a pig is the smartest barnyard animal, because not only are they going to have to learn about metal electric wire, they also are going to have to learn about the poly wire, which is the black and yellow rope-like wire that I use when I move them through the paddocks. What they need to learn is different. They need to learn that the metal wire is always hot and they should avoid it at all costs. It's probably going to be the one that hits the hottest anyway. The other thing that they need to learn is that the poly wire is temporary, and when I move it, they can go through. If they don't see it, they don't get zapped. I want them to always know that wherever a metal wire is or was, is always hot. We have tree branches fall back there on occasion, and while I'm out there every day, and I usually notice right away, I don't want them to, see a wire down because of a tree branch and take off into the woods. It does look very nice back there in the shade. This shelter right here is nothing more than pallets and an old roof. You can see a little leak in it right there. That part is not in the bedding area. So one of the benefits of pallets is carrying stuff around with them. The other benefit is that they're very convenient modular hunks of something that will, in this case, serve perfectly as a shelter. So, I'm big on reusing junk and never throwing stuff away. That roof right there was from the old goat shelter that I have reused siding from. So this has been stowed in the barn, and the chickens have pooped all over it, but who cares? That's on the outside. The piglets are going to live in here. This is some old straw that they're going to have a lot of fun picking through and eating the mycelium. If you look at that one pallet there versus all the others, you can see that the slats are much closer together, and that it looks like it's a very good, well-made pallet. But the point here is that the prevailing wind comes in this way. In fact, you can see the grass blowing in at an angle right now. So they have as much shelter from the wind as they want, because they can always burrow down in here, and I promise you they're going to make a mess out of this. And so these other, let's say, lower quality pallets that arrived here underneath chicken feed are really mostly there just to hold up the shelter. And so this whole thing is put together with scraps and some 2.5 or 3-inch construction screws. This is going to be home for the next few weeks for some piglets, and we're going to train them in 2 stages. Stage 1 is learning about the electric wire with this backstop to keep them from running forward, and teaching them to turn the other way whenever they encounter the electric wire. That's stage 1. On this side, and well, on 3 sides of this pen, there will be a solid metal wire that is fixed in location, and it'll always be right in front of a fence. On this side, near the gate, yeah, that's a gate. It's just a panel that can flex in and out. I'm going to open this gate here. The poly wire will begin at that post and continue over to this post, and we will systematically let them out into an area that is still enclosed by the garden perimeter, but we'll have only electric wire or poly braid as a test. So even if they bust through it, telling me they need to come back in for training, even if they bust through it, they're still contained and they won't get away. Once I'm confident that they've learned their lesson, that all of the piglets have learned the same lesson, then they'll begin to learn that when I remove the poly wire that's going to go right here, they can learn that it's safe to walk through. And when they walk through, they are still contained by the electric wire only, because there's a buffer behind it, and I want to make sure that they don't run through to the space behind it, that they respect it, because once they get out there, there's no hard fence. It's only electric. And there's a creek not far away, and I suspect that if the hogs got loose and didn't want to come home, that they could stay gone and probably be just fine. And I don't want to be part of the feral pig problem, and I don't want my farm animals wandering off and being at risk. It's pretty cozy in here, and I think the piglets are going to really enjoy having some nice soft bedding to burrow down into. This straw is stiff, like the straw is stiff in places and black in others. So wow, feels a little warm. I think we got a little composting going on already, so that just means that it's going to be cozy for them. And normally in the past we had a weaning pen that we used that was down by the hog pens, but I feel like having something closer to the house for the piglets, especially when they're coming from off farm. If they were born here, and they can go out of the fence and walk right back into mommy, and they have always done that. Sometimes they do get out, but as long as mom is contained, they're perfectly fine, and I don't really worry about the piglets unless they get confused and forget how to get back, which I don't think that's ever happened, at least not off property. Out of pen, yes. So since these are coming from off farm and their mother is not going to be here, in fact, this is where they'll be without mom. So probably the first week is going to be emotionally difficult for them. It's going to be an adjustment period, and while they're here in this nest area that I've made for them, they're contained in a smaller area of 2, as I explained, and they will see me multiple times a day. I will be the one who brings them their food, freshens up their water that they're going to dump over 15 times, that kind of stuff. And what we want to happen during this initial period, in addition to training on the fence, the electric fence, is training that when farmer comes, good things happen. That's going to be in the form of feed and attention eventually, which they probably won't want, feed and water. And so that's how their life is going to go. They'll adjust to seeing the farmer at least twice a day for the rest of their lives. And so it's good that they associate their keeper with good things. And that's exactly what we want, because I want them to see me carrying something like a scoop or a bucket or anything, and that be good news, because pigs will follow their stomachs. All right, so that's the overworded explanation on what's going on out here. So it's time to go ahead and finish up. All right, it's the next day and the piglet pen fairy came and did a whole bunch of stuff. Let me show you what happened. So, first of all, the sparrow showed up. This is a water nipple, and that is also one. This is full of good, fresh, clean well water with apple cider vinegar in it, just to help their systems get through and adjust. And the wire that I spoke about yesterday is right here. And so what we're looking at here, this is the carrier line. It goes all the way back to the charger that way. And this is a gate handle that we can take off and put on at will. And that holds the poly wire. This post holds the aluminum wire. I use the aluminum here because aluminum sucks. And this is temporary, and I'm going to be taking it down just as soon as the piglets move on. And what you can see right there probably is a plastic ribbon. When we trained our last batch of piglets, they had to learn about the electric fence as well, in a very similar situation than this. Hard fence, electric wire, and little flags. And the reason I use these flags is because when I take them out to the pasture, there's ribbons on those wires as well. So as the piglets migrate from here to over there, they're going to walk themselves. So I'm just going to go ahead, once I'm confident that they're trained on it and we've proved it out here, then I will use it to create a lane and walk them back to their new home way out there in the distance. Looks lush, shady right now. Those are some pretty lucky piglets. The gate system is really high tech. It's just a panel that overlaps the second panel and one of these doodads. Let's see if we can make it go on there with one hand while filming. Yay! So that's just a little carabiner, keychain strength. I wouldn't use it for anything important. Not that the piglets are not important. It's just that with that right there, I don't think they're going to push on this gate at all. So it's just a cattle panel that bends. It's hooked onto a post over there. I don't like to cut the cattle panel, or the hog panels rather, unless I have to, because they're really expensive and I want to preserve the ones that I have. Feed, check. Shelter, check. Bedding, check. Water, check. Training, check. I don't know if you could read that, but it says 5,300 volts. That's a very educational voltage. Table for 4. Check. So here they are, the stars of the show. 1, 2, 3, and soon to be 4 creepy crawling in the background there. Old spot piglets that we're going to spend the rest of this year with. We have a lot to learn from each other, and I'm really looking forward to the journey, and I hope you'll join us. And if you've made it this far in the video, you know what I'm going to say next. Hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and thank you for stopping by, because I really do appreciate you watching our videos and helping us save the most delicious pork in the world. The old-timey, what I call pre-industrial hogs. I hope to be able to share this with you. in the coming year. Thanks again, and have a great day. Another great thing to have around is bluebirds. Oops. As soon as I said that, one of them flew away. But that's their home right there. And those power lines right there is their favorite place to survey the surroundings for an unsuspecting bug. It's really nice to have them around. I love bluebirds.